Greetings to Dr. Tashini and my fellow groupmates. We are from Group 11 and are going to present about a movie review based on the movie Inside Out. So now, our group had chosen the movie Inside Out, which was released back in 2015. In the movie, the main character is named Riley Anderson. She grew up with a family in Minnesota. Everything seemed to go well, but her life started to change when Riley's father accepted a job offer in San Francisco. Due to this, her parents decided to move to San Francisco together and start a new life there. Riley seemed to be unable to accept the fact that she needs to leave the place where she had created many memories for 11 years. This caused her to have trouble adapting to her new school and home. Similar to all human beings, Riley has her own emotions, and this movie focused on the emotions in which they all lived in the headquarters known as the control center in Riley's mind. All of these emotions guided Riley through her everyday life. However, the headquarters soon turned into chaos as Riley struggled to adapt in her new environment. The emotions mentioned in this movie are joy, fear, sadness, disgust, and anger. The first emotion, called joy, is known as the happy emotion. Joy glows in a blue-yellow color. Her main goal is to make sure that Riley is always happy. The next character is known as the emotion fear. The main responsibility is to keep Riley safe and to protect Riley from any danger. This character glows in the color purple. Meanwhile, the emotion sadness is the opposite of joy. She glows brightly in the color blue. Sadness finds it difficult to look into the positive side of every occurrence. Thus, her easiest solution most of the time is to lay on the floor and bawl. Disgust, on the other hand, portrayed a character of being extremely honest when it comes to something unusual to her. She tends to keep a close eye on everything that Riley comes into contact with daily in order to prevent Riley from getting hurt and poisoned. Last but not least, the emotion anger. He glows in the color red and has fire on his head. In the movie, his main goal is to make sure everything is fair for Riley. Now, the first point that we can derive from the movie Inside Out is cognitive development. Now, in terms of cognitive development, Riley had shown multiple growth of her mental processes. In this context, we can relate it to Jean Piaget's theory of cognitive development, which he mentioned about the 4 stages occurring in the early stage of a child. In his theory, the 4 stages are known as the sensory motor stage, pre-operational stage, concrete operational stage, and former operational stage. So during the first few minutes of the movie, we can observe the way Riley's cognitive works during the sensory motor stage. In one of the scenes, she tried exploring the world by using her senses, such as touching the things around her playing area. Another action displayed in the movie was that Riley crawled in the living room while trying to pick up some toys on the floor just before her father carried her out. Riley then slowly moved into the next stage of cognitive development, which is known as the pre-operational stage. In this stage, it is known that children from the age of 2 to 7 years old are most likely to start using a symbolic way of thinking. Correspondingly to Riley's behavior, she started to visualize lava in front of her while jumping between her sofa in the living room when she was playing. Riley was also imagining her toys talking and fighting with each other, alongside visualizing her imaginary friend called Bing Bong. Moving on to the third stage of cognitive development, which is known as the concrete operational stage, this is when a child became less egocentric and language acquisition occurs. Based on our observation of the movie, we observe that Riley starts having internal speech with her toys during her playtime. There were several words that she used to communicate with her parents as well. Furthermore, Riley had also gone through the last stage, which is known as the formal operational stage. It was displayed that Riley successfully mastered her abstract thoughts when she pointed out what the London Bridge in the movie was made of. She stated in the movie that it was made out of steel. Due to that, we collectively analyzed that Riley was able to rationalize and think more critically of her experience in life. Moving forward to another scene, the emotion joy, which controls Riley's emotions, is able to think of ways to solve problems when facing potential disasters. When she had finally turned into a teenager, we could evidently see the way she thinks and analyzes situations, which are completely different from when she was younger.
The second point review that I can make about this movie is about the nature and function of attitudes that relate with learning unit, attitude and attribution. Attitude consists of 3 basic components: cognitive, affective, and behavioral. First, the cognitive component. This involves Riley's thoughts and beliefs. Initially, her thoughts about moving to San Francisco are mixed with excitement and curiosity influenced by her positive past experiences. But as challenges arise, her thoughts shift. She begins to worry and feel uncertain, reflecting the cognitive aspect of her attitude changing. Next, the affective component. This is all about Riley's emotional responses. Inside her mind, we see joy, sadness, anger, fear, and disgust working over time. Each emotion colors her feeling towards new situations. For example, sadness often brings a sense of reflection and melancholy, allowing relays emotional responses to her new environment. Finally, the behavioral component. This is how Relay's attitude influences her actions. Feeling overwhelmed, Relay decides to run away back to Minnesota, a behavior driven by her negative emotions and thoughts about her current situation. Her decision reflects a combination of her cognitive beliefs, thinking she was happier in Minnesota, and her affective state, feeling unhappy and disconnected in France and San Francisco. Inside Out beautifully illustrate how these three components, cognitive, affective, and behavioral, interact to shape our attitudes. Relay's journey shows how her thoughts, feelings, and actions are deeply interconnected. Through Relay's experience, Inside Out gives us a deeper understanding of how our attitude form and change, influenced by our emotions and the way we interpret the world around us.
According to Article GP model, in terms of psychological theory and psychological themes, there are three main sets of memory division. The first is sensory memory. It is the initial set of memory, where information is input to the sense and is widely stored in the sensory memory. Its duration is very short and usually less than 1 second. For example, a sensory memory is not especially shown in the movie. It can be inferred that relay short-term memory is submitted so the information input by the sense after being very stored in the sensory memory set. Next is short-term memory. It is the information entering short-term memory from sensory memory, and its retention time is about 20 to 30 seconds. It allows information to be transferred to long-term memory through repetition and elaboration. For example, released short-term memory can be converted to the information processed in real time on the brain console in the movie, where the information requires quick decision making and processing and cannot be stored for a long time. Then there is long-term memory. The information it processes and stores can be kept in long-term memory for a long time, even permanently. And the capacity for long-term memory is almost unlimited. For example, the memory box in the movie represents long-term memory. Memory boxes of different colors will respond to memory of different emotions, and these memory boxes are kept in really blank. According to Huntington Tree model, in terms of psychological phenomena, the formation of memory in the movie is attributed to the interaction of emotional characters and life events. For example, whenever an important event occurs, a memory box is generated and stored in long-term memory. In addition, the film also shows how the memory box is required to the brain operating table when needed, which corresponds to the storage and required process of memory. Moreover, the process of processing in the movie is manifested as the memory box being sent to the memory processing pit. This process can be likened to the phenomenon that information in long-term memory gradually decays and is forgotten. The movie Inside Out presents the complex memory theory to the audience intuitively and vividly through the visual memory board and the internal work of the brain. The interaction of emotional characters also shows the impact of emotions on memory, enhancing the audience's understanding of the relationship between emotions and memory. However, the movie simplifies the memory process and does not show the sensory memory set in detail. Although the memory retrieval and processing process is vivid, it may be oversimplified and does not fully explain the complex mechanism and multiple influencing factors of memory.
Okay, so the next psychological theory or psychological concept that can be analyzed from the movie is emotional intelligence theory based on Goldman's theory of emotional intelligence. So, emotional intelligence refers to the ability to recognize, understand, and manage emotion effectively. So the concept of emotional intelligence was first introduced by John Mayer and Peter Sullivan in the year of 1997. And then Daniel Goleman, a science journalist, proposed his own theory. Goleman's concept focused on behavior, emotions, as well as brain, which he observed from his experience and also research. This movie focused on the interplay of emotion within Riley's mind. All the emotions in Riley's mind are portrayed in this movie. So this movie portrays emotion as character and explore. We get to explore how emotion influence Riley's thought, memories, as well as behavior. In this movie also, emotions are personified as character. There are 5 emotions involved: joy, sadness, disgust, fear, and also anger. So this is some scenes that portray the aspect of emotional intelligence theory. So first, let me explain which aspect does this scene cover. So first, we have the scene where Riley's experience mix of emotion during the moving scene from Minnesota to San Francisco. It highlights the importance of recognizing and also understanding our own emotion. So the interaction between all the emotion demonstrates self-awareness. So next is self-regulation. So in this scene where sadness comfort Bimbong, Riley's imaginary friend, is actually teach us about how we need to acknowledge and process the feeling of sadness rather than suppressing it. And also Riley's journey to manage her emotion, especially during hard time, also illustrates self-regulation throughout the movie itself. And then last, we have empathy and also social skills. So Riley's interaction with her parents, friends, and also Bimbong, her imaginary friends, shows empathy as well as social understanding. This scene where Riley shares her feeling with her parents reflect a healthy communication. The scene where Riley shares her emotion and then her parents express their feelings toward Riley is how the parents feeling empathy with Riley's situation, and Riley is being open with her parents. So this is the empathy and social skills scene.
For the next part, we're going to talk about psychological growth. So, in psychological growth, it refers to the act of enhancing coping strategies, learning new abilities, and enhancing emotional intelligence and resilience in the wake of a major obstacle or adversity. So, as examples, psychological ideas like integration and complicated emotional experiences were illustrated in Inside Out, starting with emotional integration. From the beginning until the end of the movie, we can see the development of various emotions in Riley. At the end of the movie, the emotion was no longer isolated but working together instead. It indicates a more integrated and mature emotional state. Then, talking about complicated emotional experiences, Riley's experiences moving to San Francisco led to the creation of new core memory that was not purely joy, but also a blend of sadness. At the end of the movie, it was shown the memories was combination of joy and sadness. There was disgust and fear. There was anger and joy, etc. This complexity signifies emotional growth and deeper understanding of her feelings. Now, we are going to talk about mechanisms of growth, starting with the first one, which is acquiring knowledge from misfortune. So, the first, Riley learns that it's okay to feel sad and that expressing her sadness can lead to comfort and support from her loved ones. There was this scene at the end of this movie where Riley coming back from home from her runaway attempt to Minnesota. She cried, expressing her feelings of missing home and everything, which show this acknowledgement is a significant step in her emotional maturity. The second one, from the mechanism of growth, is being adaptable. So Riley's adaptability or her ability to adapt to her new environment and find new ways to engage demonstrate psychological growth. As example, Riley at the end, she finally joining a new hockey team from her own school, which is in San Francisco. She learns to find joy in new experiences while acknowledging the difficulties of her transition since she moved from Minnesota, where she been growing up. Now she is in San Francisco. That's all.
To conclude, There are several moral values which you can learn from this movie. Firstly, we can conclude that everyone undergoes a growth process and that our ability to do more complicated things increases as we develop. Our emotions will also experience a sudden change, and we must be able to tackle our emotional problems in a suitable manner to not bring chaos to our loved ones. The problems we face might affect our surroundings. Hence, managing our emotions as we evolve is a must. Apart from that, we probably have experienced the obstacles Riley had gone through, and we might relate to her. From there, we can see that everyone goes through changes when we grow up, and this proves that life is not always a smooth sailing boat as we proceed from one developmental stage to another. Overall, this movie is definitely intriguing to watch as it taught us the changes that happen from early childhood until the teenage period. Despite the ups and downs that almost made us teary eyed, we indeed enjoy watching the growth of Riley. Thank you.